Oh, it's on. It's on. What's it up? Oh. So, yeah. Let me see something real quick. If this is actually on here, man. Okay. Yep. Okay. Okay. All praises, all honor, all glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rakah, Wadash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Great Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to all the Akim doing and pushing this word in sincerity and truth worldwide, and a sincere shalom to the elect. Yeah, I wanted to get into this camp session here. Okay. You scoffers and false prophets, alright? You know, Apostle Elder Tahar named this year the year of apostrophe. Slack. Let me bring it up here real quick. Apostasy, agents and sellouts. Okay, 2026. All right, because we're already seeing that all these individuals are being shown for who they are. Okay, this is all scriptural. This is all prophetic. This is all spoken about in the scriptures that these events are going to happen. Men coming after, coming and being lovers of their own self, right? Loving the praise of men more so to give the praise to Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We knew these things were going to happen, okay? And it's all being made clear right now. We can clearly see it, okay? As the scriptures tell us about James and Jambres, right? Let's get there real quick. James and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these, okay? 2 Timothy chapter 3 and verse 8. Now as James and Jambres withstood Moses, so do these also resist the truth. Men of corrupt mind reprobate concerning the faith, but they shall proceed no further, for their folly shall be made manifest unto all men, as theirs also was. So we're seeing the breakdown of these false prophets. People are starting to notice. People are starting to say, you guys used to say this, now all of a sudden you're saying this, and the people are recognizing that, hey, though they may hate GMS, they gotta, because we know they hate GMS, right? They hate the affiliates, they hate GMS. And all the apostle elders been doing from since time is speaking the 100% truth. And the people are noticing that, these brothers don't change up, okay? They haven't changed up since, all right? But you could see with false prophets like Nate and them, okay? They're changing up stuff. Sakari, Genesis, aka Genesis, whatever title and name they want to go by, right? They're changing up doctrine. Now they're saying that the actual heathens can make it. Then you have other groups telling you that you could, it's permittable to have sex on the Sabbath. All these things the Lord is making all this bubble to the surface. Like, when you get a car in your hand, right, and you use peroxide, and peroxide is supposed to bubble all the dirt, right? Whatever's in that cut to the surface, so it's easier to get it out of the cut. And this is what the Lord is spiritually doing, metaphorically. He's pouring peroxide in the cut, okay? And all these false prophets are starting to rise. We're all starting to see them rise up, like the little leaven in the dough, right? So we're starting to see them all rise up. And the ones who are staying, 10 toes down through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Yahushai, you could see it, okay? So we're seeing the separation between, as they say, like, they always have this term, separating the men from the boys, right? And we're seeing this separation happening right now, that the Lord is making it known to the world who his true prophets are, okay? It's very easy to see. Anyways, let's get back into this. Salakia, 1 second, Akia. Anyways, so continuing, let's get back into this. So these individuals, right? You know, it's being made known what's going on, you know, with these individuals out there. It's the Lord is making this all come to the front, right? The forefront with what they're doing, you know, how they're carrying out themselves, how they carry themselves, man. You know, how their members are carrying themselves, right? You know, as the scriptures say, a leader of that people, whatever he is, so is his followers, right? Let's get into this real quick. I want to get to Sirach chapter 32. And 17, a sinful man will not be reproved. And that's why you see a lot of the times these guys making videos on the elders or brothers that are giving them rebuke, okay? You know, even the affiliate brothers, right? So these groups like IUIC, you know, Genesis, so on and so forth, just to name some, right? Will make a rebuttal video, you know, trying to appeal to the people, so I guess they don't lose their money, or trying to look good, right? But what it is really, what's happening with them is that they're refusing the rebuke that they're getting, right? They're trying to make themselves look good to their congregation, so their money don't stop, okay? So you'll see a whole bunch of videos come out after, like, oh no, we're right, you're wrong type situation, right? But the reproofs from Yahweh Shem Shai are nothing to be rejected. When somebody's giving you reproof, well, let me just say it like this: when a man that's been in this truth for over 40 years, 30 years, preaching 100% truth, rehearsing the righteous acts, right, doing all he can do to serve Yahweh Shem Shai, when he gives you, let's say a wise man, when he gives you reproof, right, when he rebukes you, and you know, setting you in the right order, you're not supposed to, you know, refuse that, okay? You're not supposed to come up against that. That's what fools do. It says, rebuke a wise man and he will love thee, but a fool will hate thee, right? As a matter of fact, let me get that real quick. And that's exactly what they are. They're fools. Let me see, Proverbs. I know it's in Proverbs. Yeah, Proverbs. There's another one, but rebuke, Proverbs chapter 9 and 8. Rebuke not a scorner, lest he hate thee. Rebuke a wise man, and he will love thee. Why? Because you're giving him an instruction. You're giving him a clear instruction, something that he can see, something that he wasn't aware maybe that he was doing, right? And it may have been detrimental to him in the long run, but here it is, you know, a wise man, a man that's been well skilled, you know, well trained in the word of Yahweh Shem Shai. Let me say it like that, because he's been going through much experience, right? He has much experience, and he's showing you this. He's showing you, you know, the right way to go. He's showing you, look, you continue on down that road, you know, that's gonna be harmful to you in the long run. And on top of that too, as the scriptures tell you that, you know, it's not our words that we're speaking. It's the words from Yahweh Shem Shai. So ultimately, you're rejecting the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, because he puts his prophets here to, you know, tell the people, give them warning, give them caution about things that are happening, right, or about to happen, right? Set them aright, set them in the right order. You know, that's the job of a prophet. Give you that warning, right? But an individual that, an individual that's in that, retrobate type of mindset, like these other camps out here, their mind, hey, stop that, go over there. Their mind is not in the right place, man, because they're trying to one foot in the world, one foot in this truth. That's not how it is. You're supposed to come serve Yahweh Shem Yahushua in sincerity and truth. Put away the gods, put away all those things which you were doing before in the world, put those things away, okay? That's why the scriptures talk about being renewed in the mind, okay? When you're renewed in the mind, you're not going to be thinking about wicked things. You're not going to be indulging about wicked things that you did in the past. You're going to know, yo, those were the things that were carrying me down the wrong road. Bringing sin upon sin, me going against my Creator, right? Being a Gentile in a Gentile state of mind, acting like a heathen, those things aren't well pleasing to the Lord. So when your mind is renewed, you're not going to go back to those things. You're going to say, no, push those things away. So an individual who gets rebuked by a wise man, sometimes, he might be on the walk, he might not see what he's doing exactly. That might be wrong, but he's not going to refuse it. He's not going to rebuttal. He's not going to kick up and fuss. And then that's what these other individuals do. A sinful man will not be reproved, right? But a man of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, he's going to know right away, I don't have 100,000 eyeballs, This is a prophet, this is the next prophet from Yahweh Shem Yahushua. So if I'm doing wrong, how's the message going to get to me? Scriptures talk about if you be otherwise minded, God shall reveal this even unto you. Yeah, through, even through meditation, you might come across a situation where you're like, you read something and then you analyze it and you go, yo, hey, that ain't too good. I should, put that away, Or a brother might reveal it unto you. Hey, you're going off, Ak. Let me get the scripture for you and show you something real quick. You should stay away from that. You know what I mean? So let's go into this real quick again. Sirach chapter 32 and 17. A sinful man will not be reproved. Why? Because he's stuck. He's leaning to his own understanding. He don't want to change his ways. He's upset with the judgment, that the Lord is basically giving him, telling him through a prophet, look, you're going off, you're doing the wrong thing. But he's comfortable in his stead. He feels nice and good. That's what happens to a lot of people. They get comfortable, right? And they get comfortable living like that. But we're not here to have comfort. As James 4:9 tells you, you gotta get accustomed to the sufferings. All right. We went off against Yahweh Shem Yahushua. This walk of ours right here isn't about, kicking back your feet up, sitting back, jet-macking, relaxing. No. Scriptures tell you, be even as pilgrims upon the earth. And we're in the evil days right now, man. But there's a time where even more is going to come, right? Even worse is going to come. Where all, as the expression goes, all hell on earth is going to break loose, right? But anyways, going back into this, we sinned against Yahweh Shem Yahushua. The Lord is showing us mercy right now, all right? So we're not supposed to be up, jumping up, and kicking our heels. We're guilty on many different occasions with many different things. Remember your past lives. You don't know anything of what you were doing, man. You could have been doing the most, as they say, right? Let's just say it like that. Let's start from James 4:7. Submit yourselves, therefore, to Yahweh. Resist the devil, and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to Yahweh, and he will draw nigh to you. Cleanse your hands, ye sinners, and purify your hearts, ye double-minded. Be afflicted and mourn. Here's the point. Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. Humble yourselves in the sight of Yahweh, and he shall lift you up. Okay, so at the end, he's going to lift you up. Right? What was promised unto Job? What was the promise given unto the apostles back then and us now when we're reading about it? The Lord said, don't worry about all this trash out here. I'm going to give you 100-fold, 50-fold. double, okay? So our reward is greater from the Lord when we put away all this laughter, this comfortability, all this BS, because all this BS really is temporal, okay? It's only for a short while. But the Lord said, what? Be afflicted and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned to mourning and your joy to heaviness. Basically, humble yourself. Be of that broken and contrite spirit. And to be of a broken and contrite spirit, the Lord said He draws nigh unto a broken and contrite spirit. And what we read back here, it says, submit yourselves therefore to Yahweh, resist the devil and he will flee from you. Draw nigh to Yahweh, okay? And Yahweh will draw nigh to thee. Yahweh's not going to draw nigh to a prideful person. You got to be an individual that, you got to be an individual that's crushed in the spirit, as they would say, okay? Going through much affliction out here, going through much tribulation, because all these things that we're going through basically is building our character, helping us to keep ourselves as integral men, okay, onto Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So all these situations, what we're going through, all these tribulations, trials that we're going through, we don't just chuck it to the side like the 2/3 and these false prophets. All of those trials and tribulations, like I said, that we're going through is helping to build us up to be proper men. Men that could be looked on in the sight of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and He'll do this, thumbs up. Okay? That's what we want from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, to be looked upon in the right sight. To get that thumbs up, as they would say in the world, right? The okay, the green light. We don't want parts with this world. Fuck this world. This world is about to be destroyed. Alright? It's about to be over for this world. There's nothing here that's valuable. The only thing that's here that's valuable is the word of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai, and Lord will we be His men. Okay? Anything else is going to be destroyed. When you go into 2 Corinthians chapter 4, starting from the let me just go to it. When you go to 2 Corinthians chapter 4, you could start from the point being, you could start from verse 17, right? But verse 7 along that line shows something as well. But we have this treasure in earthly vessels, that the excellency of the power may be of God and not of us. Meaning we have this treasure, this knowledge, wisdom, understanding within these earthly vessels, and it shows that this is not of us, because in the NLT it tells you that we're fragile, cleared clay jars containing this great treasure, okay? And it tells you that it's clearly to show you that the power is from on high, not from us, and that's in the NLT. You know what? Instead of trying to quote it, let me get in the NLT, because it says it very beautiful in the NLT, man. Okay? You see, this is what we revolve ourselves and surround ourselves with. This brings joy to us, breaking down the scriptures, reading the scriptures, seeing some of our enemies fall when we put curses up on them. Those things bring joy to our heart, man. Seeing our kids, even that too, seeing our kids, after we've spoken to them and showed them the right way. What's Sirach chapter 30 talk about? He talks about the enemy not liking when we teach our kids and raise them up right with the words of Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. So seeing your kids, after you just done spoke to them, when you around the corner or wherever it may be, and seeing them, executing or acting on behalf of that knowledge, the wisdom that you just gave them, that brings a tear to your eye. That makes you happy. Okay? These are the things that please Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. Okay? And that's where your mind's got to be at. And a lot of people, they cannot digest that because, carnality, the world, their flesh. They say that people who smoke, it's a technique they use to get them off of smoking, because it's called something about idle hands. When they stop smoking, and even when they're smoking, they said they're not really addicted to the nicotine, or they're not really addicted to, the cigarette or whatever it is. It's just idle hands, having something in your hand and to do, because their brain That hey, we gotta praise Yahweh Shemel Shai every day, all day. Give honor and glory, onto the Heavenly Father and the Son, man, because our minds are not set up like that. Our minds are eat this word, eat this word, eat this word, keep consuming this, right? Meanwhile, the people in the world, they don't know what to do. Their mind, that I don't know. I just did something because, my hands were empty. I just felt like I had to do something. Okay, bored. That's another word. Bored, right? They feel bored, but this is not something born to us. Like, this is our joy. Okay, praising Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai and doing the things that please Him and His Son. That's our joy. Okay, just like a woman is supposed to take joy in making her husband happy, right? We take joy in making our aka husband happy, okay? Because we are like, Israel is likened unto a woman, right, to the Most High. So speaking in poetic form, our joy is to see our husband happy, okay? So going back into this, let me get this real quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 7, okay? We now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. Because in 1 Samuel chapter 3, or 1 Samuel chapter 3 and 1, I think it is, it talks about how precious this truth is precious, right? And that, something that has value is 100% precious, right? Salakia. Something that's precious has the utmost value. You can't just go and replicate it, duplicate it again. It's one of a kind, right? So this truth is likened onto such. This 100% truth. Now, what these false prophets are doing out there, okay? Though they may have a Bible in their hand and a money bag in the next, right? Not to be compared with that crap, what they're doing, but this truth, this 100% truth that we have here, which is able to save your souls or lead you on to salvation, you can't go to Walmart and buy it. You can't go to you can't do, hey, if the Lord is not dealing with you, that's it, you're fried, you're cooked. But, like I'm saying, this is the most precious thing within the world, because it tells you in the scriptures that you can't even compare all the gold, all the rubies, all the silver, all of that. Everything. You can't compare none of those things. Okay? You could add them all together. The cars, the gold, the fiat money, all of that. Every item in the world. And it still wouldn't amount on the chart of like 1%, comparison to wisdom, man. So what we have is truly precious. And what we have is truly a great, 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 great treasure. Okay? So continuing, we now have this light shining in our hearts, but we ourselves are like fragile clay jars containing this great treasure. This makes it clear that our great power is from Yahweh, not from ourselves. Right? So it's from on high. What we have, this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, is from Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. It's not from ourselves, okay? So, retaining this knowledge, wisdom, and understanding within these, this flesh, like I said, we wouldn't sell out. Not a day, not an hour for all the riches in the world. We wouldn't sell out. Because like I said, this is coming to an end, okay? All of what you see here, the cars, the money, the women, the lifestyle, that's the major one. The lifestyle, all of that is coming to an end. Okay? The waking up, the debauchery that follows with the waking up. Meaning, they do it all over again and again and again. They wake up the next day, they say, oh, we're going to get more than what we had yesterday. Right? They're boastful, prideful within themselves. So let's go to this real quick. 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and 17. For our present troubles are small and won't last very long. Yet they produce for us a glory that vastly outweighs them and will last forever. So all these things that we're going through, the present troubles and trials and tribulations that we're going through, don't worry about that. Okay? That ain't nothing. That's something to build you, to build your character, to make you stronger, so you can endure, the rough trials that are coming up ahead. But two-thirds and these false prophets, they can't endure those type of things. Because as soon as their finger hits the fire, they start suffering on whatever end it is. Hey, go sit down. Whatever end it is, they want help to be pulled out of that situation right away. But us, being taught by our apostle elders through the spirit of Yahweh Shem Shai, being taught by the apostle elders, we know that, hey, don't pray that the situation just vanishes from you and goes to somebody else. No. Pray for the strength, okay? The mental ability, the spiritual, to tap in spiritual power, right? Pray for that ability that you may endure, you know what I mean? Have the mental capacity to endure these things, all right? That's what you should be really praying for. Because the present time, the time that's coming, the present time right now, you look around, you've seen things happening, this, that, blah, blah, blah. And they're irksome, whatnot. But the times that are to come are going to be way hellish than this, man. Okay? It's going to be amped up like 100 times, 1,000 times more. This is why our apostle elders stress, and the other brothers too as well, to younger brothers when they come into this truth. And shit, you always got to look in the mirror, right? Do you understand what you're involved in? Okay? When I first came into the truth and I kept hearing the brothers say that, I was like, why do you keep saying that? Like, yeah, this is death or life. But what I didn't realize is that some people come into, everybody's different, right? The scriptures say it'll make you of quick understanding. Some people, they didn't understand until a little bit later on. They're walking the truth. And I said, yeah, death and life, man. You took a vow to the Most High. If you're 15, and let's just say this was to continue to your 55, there's a lot of things in between 15 and 55. You're going to go through a lot of shit, okay? And on top of that, you cannot give up serving Yahweh Shem Shai. Your own family is going to come against you. Your own wifey is going to come against you. Your own friends that you knew for a long time. All that, it's all going to come to a line in the sand, as they say. There's a line drawn in the sand. You know where that's from. But anyways, before sundown, give an answer. But the main point is, why the brothers is asking that is because it's to give you a notion like, look, this is not going to be an easy walk, okay? You're going to see much things happening where you're just going to want to pull your hair out. But be calm, be humble, pray unto Yahweh Shem Shai. We'll show you how to get through this walk. But a lot of individuals, they don't understand that, okay? That's why the brothers always pop that question, hey, do you realize what you're involved in here? Because this is the highest calling within the world, man. There's nothing higher than this, okay? Soccer game, this, that, basketball, those are the fucking things of the world. Those things are going to come to an end, okay? Those things of the present time. This present time is going to shift, okay? New rulers are coming in. Like the landlord say, hey, tomorrow's the 30th, you guys sure you're going to be out? Because my new tenants is coming in. And that's it. Within the world, the Lord, Yahweh, is kicking out the old landlord and letting back in. Because Ecclesiastes chapter 3 and 15, the Lord required that which is past. He's letting back in the old tenants. He's like, man, all these other tenants are headed after by people. Get the fuck out of here. I put it back by like a father to a son. He may have rented it to 17 people, right? Inside joke. He may have rented it to 17 people after him. So he's like, you know what? Enough of this. After this last 17th person, I'm bringing back my son inside. Tired of this shit. But I'm speaking in metaphors though. So you know, we gotta endure these things on to the end, man. This is why we gotta suffer, you know. A lot of people don't like the suffering. They want to jump out of the frying pan right away. Ain't no jumping out of this frying pan right away, man. You gotta endure this on to the end, you know. And you endured on to the end, as the scriptures tell you that, you know. Let me get in the KJV. For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. Right. And remember, we're entering in to eternity, a world without end. How do you want to enter into that world? With shame on your face, as it say, egg on your face? Or you want to enter in there, you know, the first go around without tasting death and being, you know, regarded as a good student, a good soldier from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai? How do you think that would make you feel, man? How do you think that, you know, for your soul, for your spirit, for you, you understand? That's the greatest reward ever. Fucking niggas talk about MLB and, you know, and the baseball and all this shit and rewards from them. That ain't shit. That won't add up to this reward, okay, that the Lord is going to give us, man. And that wine, the Lord said, I got wine. I ain't hatch open yet. But we going to drink it in the kingdom, man. We going to pop them bottles and drink down the chariot, you know, or in the kingdom, however it may be. While America's follow eat, yeah, y'all shy. You know? Those are things that we look forward to. We don't look forward to fucking, my boss is going to give me a raise, you know. Great. Fiat, more fiat, stupid money. Okay? So anyways, continuing, verse 18. While we look not at the things which are seen, you know, all these things that are around us can be clearly seen, you know, cars, money, all of that BS, right? But at the things which are not seen, the promises that were given unto us from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, the kingdom, right? Having them new bodies, right? And, you know, there's various other things that we cannot see right now. The kingdom that the Lord say, in my Father's house there are many mansions. Hold on 1 second. Salakia, 1 second. I gotta pause this. Did it pause? I don't know if it paused it. I think it's paused. Oh, I gotta unlock it and then pause it. That's resuming. Is that recording still? Shit, I don't know. Hold on a second, Akim. Yeah, it's recording. Alright, getting back into Salaki about that. So yeah, going back into what I was saying, you know, all these things here are temporal, right? So going back into 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and 18 KJV, well, we look not at the things which are seen, right? Like I said, the cars, the monies, the houses, the women's, the whatever it may be, but at the things which are not seen, right? And like I said, you know, those new bodies, the things that are coming for us, the promises, right? The Lord said that in my Father's house there are many mansions, right? For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal, right? And the promise from Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, Isaiah, let me get this real quick. Isaiah 45 and 17. What's 15 again? Oh yeah. Isaiah chapter 45 and 17. But Israel shall be saved, Yasharallah shall be saved in Yahweh with the everlasting salvation. Ye shall not be confounded, Salakia, ye shall be not ashamed, nor confounded, world without end. Yeah, the world that's coming, you know, that world, there will be no end to it, okay? The rulership, this is like Nate, fucking asshole. That nigga tried to jump up and say that the Israelites are going to come up against us. How the hell the Slakia, the Edomites, the Edomites are going to jump up and come up against us? that right there is a fucking joke within itself. How are you gonna go against? That's like a mere human trying to go against a Superman or a Superwoman. Okay, we already read in the scriptures about our children being able to play with poisonous snakes, and the poisonous snakes are not even gonna harm them. So how the hell is a measly, dirty, base man, a gutter fucking a mountain dweller? How the hell is that nigga gonna come up against us? And we got the new bodies. Okay? They show you all the time within these movies, flying spiritual things that you'll be able to make someone's head fucking explode, god damn it. What the hell are you talking about? You can give a nigga a disease, but yet you talk about Edomites gonna come and take us over. With what? What kryptonite? What fucking kryptonite is the Edomites gonna use, Nate? So that's why, Apostle Elder Tahar said 2026, the year of these apostrophes and these false fucking prophets. You know what I mean? We're gonna see much more, man. Brothers people who you thought were brothers are gonna be falling out the truth left, right, and center. See, this is where our mind is fixed. Our mind is fixed upon Yahweh Shem Yahushai and serving Yahweh Shem Yahushai. You got to remember, we were shown mercy. That's why when you go into Job chapter 4 and 7, let's see what it says right here, right? Job 4 and 7. Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent, or where were the righteous cut off? Right? Remember, I pray thee, whoever perished being innocent. So a lot of times people see a little baby come into the world, and they go, what the fuck did the baby do? If you only knew that baby's past life, you wouldn't be talking like that, okay? That baby could have been, I ain't gonna say it, H to the I to the R to the whatever the fuck. You know how these small hats get down. It could have been the worst thing ever, right? He could have been, somebody that was just diabolic, all right? He could have been somebody that was, hey, we all do the bidding, we all do the work. The Lord said that, He puts the Spirit on them to do those things, and man's going is of the Lord. So the Lord got all your receipts, your ticket, as they say, they go like this, and then roll down. Yeah, He got your receipts, He got your tickets, He know what you were doing in the past. You might be sitting back right now going, God damn, that's terrible. I'd never do something like that. But the Lord would be like, yo, in 1604, in the 7th century, in the 6th century, in the 4th century, I got your receipts on everything that you did. So a lot of people, they might see a baby come into this world and, get hit up in a car or whatever, 7 gunshots to the head. And they're like, oh shit, that's terrible. Well, you know what that baby did in the past life? Okay? So we all guilty of something, right? We're all guilty. This is why we're making our efforts right now to get back in the good sights of Yahweh Shem Yahushai. We're basically being shown a chance, or given a chance, okay? Through mercy, okay? Through Yahweh Shem Yahushai, okay? And a lot of these niggas, because I'm going to call them niggas, are just flinging it to the side. They're basically coming in the spirit like a fucking Edomite. Remember the scriptures say, what hast thou to do with my word? You guys are supposed to be Israelites. You're supposed to cherish this word, okay? Yeah, exactly. Seeing thou hatest instruction. When a man come to rebuke you and give you instruction from Yahweh Shem Yahushai, a prophet of Yahweh Shem Yahushai rejected. You get all big head, right? Proud, right? That's why it says, rebuke a wise man and he love thee, but a scorner will hate thee, right? Psalms chapter 50 and verse 16, but on to the wicked, Yahweh saith, and we know this is dealing with Esau, but you know, 2/3 of our people are joining hand in hand with this man, taking as they would say, taking a couple pages out of his book, right? But on to the wicked, Yahweh saith, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my word behind thee. Yeah, the false prophets, 2/3. You could be accounted for the same thing too. Because what are you doing? You hate instruction, as the scriptures say what? Seeing thou hatest instruction. When men of the Lord are out there telling you guys what the MOTB is. You see those GMS guys and the affiliates, a bunch of idiots. Those guys are rapists, yo. Just keep your daughter, like that nigga said. You go keep your daughter tight. What do you say? Keep your daughters, keep your women, whatever, ray. And that's all they're doing, spreading rumors. Because if it was true, like Apostle Tahar and all of us always said, yo, we'd be under the jail. We wouldn't be in the jail. We'd be under the fucking jail, all right? That's something that they every day wake up and pray for, all right? But you're not going to get it. Because we're not people of this world, okay? Like Yahweh Shai said, we're not of this world. We're sealed with proper instructions. You niggas are sealed with the instructions of this world. So you're liable for that. You know, you're liable to fall in the same shit that you're spreading rumors about us. You're liable to fall into. Okay? But going back into this. But unto the wicked God said, what hast thou to do to declare my statutes? Yeah, you niggas don't even declare anything right. I mean, sure, you get some of the things right, but when it comes to the Shabbat and having sex, you know, ask them that question. They'll tell you, it's all right, it's okay. We're rehearsing the righteous acts. Right out the window, man. One in one ear and out the next, okay? Refusing, you know, the instructions of Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. When you ask, I can't remember what camp it is, where the guy said you could have sex in the butt. And you know what that means, okay? That is off. That totally off, okay? We were given clear instructions from Yahweh Hashem Yahushai. Doing things like that, that's something of the other nations, man. You'd expect the so-called Chinese, Indian, Hamites, Edomites, especially Edomites, to be talking like that, you know? Remember in the scriptures it tells you that for our conversation is in heaven. When you go into that word conversation, it goes into citizenship, okay? You're not supposed to conduct yourself like that as an Israelite. Though you be here in the flesh, but just remember who you're tied to. As I say, you got mob ties. Just remember who you're tied to. You're tied to Yahweh B'Shem Yahushai. And as an Israelite, you're not supposed to be carrying yourself out like that. Remember, we were given the greatest in front of all these people in the world. All these nations, like the scriptures in Deuteronomy tell us, that all these nations shall look upon us and say, what greater nation that have such laws, statutes, and commandments, and the Most High nigh unto them. But yeah, you want Jeremiah 2 and 33, trimmest thy love to seek something else that ain't even worth it. Or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth, seeing thou hatest instruction and castest my word behind thee. And yeah, you know, when it goes into such things like I was saying about the MOTB, y'all niggas is off, okay? You're talking about it is a sin. It is a sin to take it, yes, don't take it. We already know. It tells you in Revelation chapter 14, 13, 16, what's going to happen to individuals that take that shit. Revelation chapter 16 goes explicit. It says you take it and put it into you. There's going to be an ulcer, a pus. How the fuck is that from sin? Or the pus going to be fizzing out of your mind, or fizzing out your eyes, or fizzing out your mouth? How kind of bomb buck like? You see, that's why these other camps make us laugh, man. And if we're laughing, that's guess what? The Most High is laughing. The Most High and His Son is laughing. Okay? Because the Lord said, I'm gonna laugh at you. Okay? And how is He gonna laugh? Through His servants, the prophets, man. The Lord said that He's gonna make our eyes to see our enemies fall. And guess what? 2/3 of our people are our enemies too. Okay? Because you're rejecting your power. You're rejecting, you know, your natural. Your naturalism, as they would say, you're rejecting who you are, man. And that's disgusting. You want to go rather for the way of the enemy. And the enemy don't even have 1/10 of what you got. That's like somebody saying, I use 100% of my brain, but today I just want to use 0.5 of it. Once you hear this truth, you should be in it to win it, as they say. I don't want to, I'm not in this peradventure to come in 80th place, peradventure to come in 60th place, peradventure 30, peradventure 20. Number 1 is on the list, okay? Work out your own salvation with fear and trembling. Work out your own. You can't do it from a homeboy or his homeboy, right? And 2nd Ezra tells you that that walk is so narrow that only one man can enter in at one time. Going back into what the brother said, do you know what you're involved in, man? Do you know? Do you understand what you're doing? What, you're gonna have your like I was going into, your wife, your family, your kids, your mom, dad, whoever the fuck else, your sisters, brothers, uncles, aunts, all of them gonna turn against you. And on top of that, the world is gonna turn against you too. Do you just understand? You just put how they say it in the movie? You understand that you just put a target on your head? Like them rappers be saying, put 100 on his head, right? What the elites done put. They got our photos up like wanted, 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 this prophet, that prophet, okay? You gotta understand that. These people don't like what we're saying. They don't like us. They don't like Yahweh Shemel Shai. They don't want this to end. And we're going out there consistently and telling you that it's coming to an end. Yeah, sure. Let's see how that's going to work out at the end, buddy. We already know because it's written in the scriptures what they're going to do to us. Some of us are going to have to die for this truth, man. Okay? And this is why the brothers always ask, do you know when you put your life on the line? Do you understand what's happening here? Okay? There's many different factions of things that all you gotta know is that this whole world is gonna turn against you. Your whole family is gonna turn against you. Remember, we don't wrestle against, let me get this real quick, flesh. There's gonna be, as they say, days where you wake up and just don't even feel like fucking going outside, man. You're not wrestling against flesh. You're not wrestling against your neighbor. Some guy down the street that don't like you and you don't like him. And you all in the gym every day trying to pack on some muscles just in case. Let me go to the firearm range. Let me get my aim up. No, nigga. You're fighting against things that you can't see, all right? Things that go bump in the night and you wake up, what the fuck is that? You're fighting against, let me read it real quick. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. You understand that right there. Remember, the Lord is telling you that man's goings of the Lord, okay? And he has a dominion of angels that work for him. Left and right, whatever he wants done. Okay? I'd be more worried about the things that I can't see than the things that I can see. Okay? Let me go back into this. Ephesians chapter 6. Because the things you could see, you could get an operation of how they move, how they operate, what they're doing, what they're going to say. You could practically predict what they're going to do. You understand? In a sense. Because it's physical, it's carnal. You play with something that you can't see. And they go and bump in the night and waking you up and scaring the shit out of you. Remember in Egypt, men had heart attacks because things were brushing up against them and see apparitions and they just like, Elizabeth, this is the big one, ready to go. You gotta understand what you're involved in, man. This isn't no joke. You may be, okay, let me put it this way. You got 2 kids, a wife, everything's going great. You come into the truth, things start to take a rocky turn, right? And it's not just you that these spirits going to attack. These spirits going to lunge. Just remember, your whole family is now a target. They're going to lunge on your wife, try to make her come against you or argue with her every day over the smallest thing, okay? Who the fuck moved the fucking chicken in the fridge? Stupid shit. Your kids, they're going to be running around acting dumb. Sit down. Not over there. I pointed to your chair to sit down. Just dumb, stupid shit. Getting in trouble at school, just out of order shit. Yeah, you fucking with the spiritual side of shit now. Okay? And this right here is gotta be spiritually guarded, man. Yeah? That's why in Ezekiel chapter 13 and verse 5, it talks about they have not gone into the gaps to build up the hedge, right? You're supposed to be preparing your people with these words, okay? That's why the scriptures talk about knowledge and wisdom shall be the stability of your time, and the fear of the Lord your treasure. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 12, for we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities. Okay? The Lord set things in order. Nothing moves out of order, man. Okay? Let me see something real quick here. Commences the first person thing, a series, the leader. Right. He set things in order. He's the big man. This is how it goes. The angel, or the Father, the Son, the angels, so on and so forth. He set things in order, right? Angels, demons, principalities, rule, magistrates, right? Yep. Various applications of order. Yeah, that's the one I wanted. Various applications of order. Time, place, rank. All right? Hey, man. Hey, the water, y'all, wash your shut. But let's get back to this. And the water Yahweh Shem Yahshai, for we see these things. We understand it. Okay, we understand the principles of life. Remember, the scriptures tell you that, when these people out here are asking, what's the meaning of life? It's right there in the scriptures. If you open up your dumbass eyes and read Revelation 1 and 3, blessed is he that readeth. Right? If you had to open up your dumbass eyes and read, or pray for the spirit of increase, but you carnal, you men out here thinking, that prayer is weak, Anyways, but if you had read, you would have found out Ecclesiastes, 12 and 13. Let's hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear God and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Which man? The Israelite man. Okay? So boom, there you go. There's a secret to life, or whatever you... What's the secret to this life? Well, fear God, keep his commandments. Okay? That's the whole duty in our life, man. Ephesians chapter 6 and verse 9, or 12, Slakia. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood. Remember, we're spiritual beings having a physical encounter. Okay? We're coming from the spiritual realm to this carnal realm. We're spiritual beings in the material world. Okay? Like that song said, in the material world. Yeah. That's what we're experiencing, alright? For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, right? Going back into that word principalities, right? In various applications of order, okay? Against the rulers of darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. This is what we got to battle, okay? This is what we got to fight every day. Reminding ourselves that, at the end of year, day, and week, as they say, there's a reward for serving Yahweh Shem Yahushai. There's a reward for putting off the world, okay? There's a reward for all these things that we're doing, all right? So, at the end of year, day, and week, which side do you want to be found on? You want to be found on the side where these niggas, bullshitting you. You thought IUIC was right. You thought Sakari was right. All the gimmicks that these crews, these gangalangas, these corners, these quarters, these camps, these other camps, let me say it like that, are teaching you. Pray to Yahweh Shem Yahushai that he takes you out of there. And we know that, hey, some of the elect are in some of those camps. We pray that the elect be sifted out of there very quick and come into the, real truth. Okay? The 100% truth. Right? So yeah, going back into Sirach chapter 32 and 17, a sinful man will not be reproved, but findeth an excuse according to his will. But findeth an excuse according to his will. Okay? That's why the MOTB is not that damn. Because they want to keep living that robust life, making that money. Okay? But when you talk to somebody about impending doom, when you talk about, if you take that, you know, that's your ass, you know, and you looking at it like, you know, that's my money, right? Remember what they said to Paul? They yelled out, men of Ephesus, or no, men of I forget the name. It was dealing with Diana. I think that's Acts 17. That this Paul is basically putting yeah, it is, I think. No, it's not. 19? I think it's 19. Ephesus, yeah, this gotta be it. Yeah, Demetrius, okay? So when we're saying what we're saying, this is basically putting their hustle in jeopardy, okay? This is why they talk all these crazy things. Oh, the men of GMS rape little girls and whatnot. Like I said, we ever fucking, bro, they be waiting for that all day, every day, as they say. That type of energy, they be waiting for that, okay? They're, oh man, when I'm telling you, they could keep waiting until fucking cows come home. But what I'm basically saying is, they would love for a situation like that. They would plaster that all over the news. They would pay people on the internet to just, especially vocab, to keep running it every month, right? Put devil horns on our head and I told you, I fucking told you, you know? That type of shit, that type of energy, right? We already know that, okay? But this is the levels that they must stoop to, you know? Slandering and whatnot. It's alright though. Yahweh Shem Yahushai gonna get you suckers. Gonna get you, sucker. In the end, you niggas, like I said, when I started out with that scripture, all their folly was made manifest unto all men. Yeah, all your shit is being made, all your little secrets, all your little, you know, this is what they do behind closed doors type shit, is being made manifest unto all men, man. Okay? And we're seeing it firsthand. So we, you know, we ain't gotta, you know, pull our hair out about this or anything like that, because we read about it in the scriptures. We know what you niggas are up to, man. Because Yahweh Shem Yahushai has given us a blueprint, and we can already see. Remember, the scriptures tell you that history merely repeats itself. Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and 9. Okay? Over and over and over. And what? Romans chapter 15 and verse 4 tells you that these things were written aforetime for what? For our learning. So we could guard ourselves. You know, with this knowledge, wisdom, understanding, put up a hedge. Right? Prepare ourselves against those, you know, those things that are coming. But like I said, what are you preparing? These other camps out here, what are you preparing your men for? You know, the IUIC got people shaved up and stuff, ready to go into the corporate world. You know, it looks like. But anyways, Acts chapter 19 and verse 24 says, for a certain man named Demetrius, a silversmith, which made silver shrines for Diana, brought no small gain into the craftsmanship. He was a big man. He was making that money. Okay? Whom he called together with workmen of like occupation. Okay? Just metaphorically think about these other camps spreading false bullshit. They're making their money off their t-shirt fringes and whatnot. Right? Of whom he called together with the men, with the workmen of like occupation, and said, sirs, ye know that by this craft we have our wealth. Okay? Does that remind you of these other camps? Right? Spewing all the garbage they spewing out. It's no wonder that they don't want to tell you what the MOTB is, right? It's no wonder that they go online and donate. Go online and buy you a t-shirt fringe. Go online and buy you a preset package, right? These are the niggas that Yahweh Shai whooped their ass inside the temple, and because they're trying to make it a place of merchandise. These are the same niggas coming back doing the same shit. History merely what? Repeats itself. So these niggas are doing the same thing over and over and over, man. And we caught them, okay? Moreover, ye see, verse 26, and hear that not only at Ephesus, but almost throughout all Asia, this Paul hath persuaded and turned away much people. This is what they're saying about GMS. Okay, metaphorically speaking, this is what they're saying about GMS and the affiliates. Yeah, man, you know that these guys out here have been preaching 100% truth and have pulled much of our wealth away from us, man. Saying that they be no gods which are made with man's hands, so that not only this our craft is in danger to be set at naught, yeah, because niggas gonna start to figure out y'all is phony, okay? Y'all is bullshit, and been bullshitting the people all along. All you niggas been doing is making the bag off these people, all right? That's all you've been doing. You mix a little truth with the lie and do a little dance and twist, smoke, boom, gone. That's what you niggas is doing, man. And we already have the blueprints. That's why we're telling. Ooh, we telling on you. Okay? And we telling your congregation that you niggas is phonies. Okay? Back in the past you were doing it, you know, and you still doing it up to today. Okay? You were the Acts chapter 7 and 51. Alright, that's where you were. But also continuing, but also that the temple of the great goddess Diana should be despised, with her magnificence should be destroyed, Salakia, whom all Asia and the world worshipeth, and when they heard these sayings, they were full of wrath, and cried out, saying, Great is Diana of Ephesus. This is these niggas, man, coming right back doing the same damn thing over and over and over and over, man. And Tawadi Yahweh Shemel Shai for, showing us. Acts chapter 7 and verse 51. Ye stiff-necked and uncircumcised in heart and ears, ye do always resist the Holy Ghost, as your fathers did, so do ye. Yeah, and they're the forefathers coming right back into the same stead, man. You the same niggas doing the same shit over and over and over again, man. Okay? This is why the Lord has given us warning in the scriptures that, look, you see these guys here? Bunch of fucking false prophets, man. Watch out for them. They're not going to teach the 100% truth. They're going to teach according to their own will, according to their own belly, according to their own mind, right? They're going to be enemies of the cross. You watch and see, And as further and further that we go along, man, we keep seeing people drop left, right, and center all this truth. I seen just the other day another brother, he uploaded a video, he said, PSA, this brother's not a part of so-and-so anymore. Then, another, couple days later, another one. PSA brothers, this brother right here, he is not a part of so-and-so and so. I was like, whoo. Hey, man. Pray that Yahweh Shemel Shai gives you the strength to endure on to the end, man. You can't pray to be the elect, but pray to Yahweh Shemel Shai that you endure on to the end, man. That his spirit be with you, man. Because this ain't like that the brothers always said, do you know what you're involved in? Do you realize what you're involved in, man? This is not a joke. This is not a game. This is not a gimmick, okay? This is something, as I said, dead ass serious, all right? So you scoffers and false prophets, man, you're gonna see in that day, okay? You're gonna you're gonna have to pay for your actions. Let me say it like that, okay? And you do know, okay? John chapter 15, verse 22. If I had not come and spoken unto them, they had not had sin. But now they have no cloak for the sin. Because, it was made known unto you guys, man. Scripture's also telling you in Romans. Let's get it real quick. Romans chapter 10 and 18. But I say, have they not heard? Yes, verily the sound went into all the earth, and their words unto the ends of the world. Okay? And that's it, man. The Lord's been telling you from time. From the time of Moses, from the time of David, from the time of Hamashiach, okay? Even up to today. No. And you're still rejecting, you're still playing the jackass. Okay? What do you think you're going to get for that? What do you think you deserve for that, man? You deserve punishment, okay? You deserve a punishment, man. You can't be making sport with the word of Yahweh Shem Yahushua, and that's what you niggas been doing for all this time, man. Okay? And you're gonna get hit with hit with many stripes, man, because you knew better. Let me get this last scripture. I'm gonna close out Hebrews chapter 4 and 2. Let me get this real quick. Actually, 1. Hebrews 4 and 1. Let us, you know what? Let me see what it says in the NLT. I'm curious to see that. Let me, I like how I said the 1 in NLT, but I'm gonna read KJV. You brothers can go read it in the NLT if you want, but I'm gonna read it KJV. Hebrews 4 and 1. Let us therefore fear. Okay, we got fear Yahweh Shem Yahushua, lest a promise being left us of entering into his rest, any of you should seem to come short of it. For unto us was the gospel preached, the good news, as well as unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. Because, these individuals are not faithful, man. They move carnally, okay? That's why even in Romans chapter 10 it talks about that they sought not after the law by faith. They're doing it carnally, man. Okay? It didn't profit them. Hebrews chapter 9, actually. So, okay, let me get it real quick. Yep. Romans chapter 9 and verse 31. But Israel, which followed after the law of righteousness, have not obtained to the law of righteousness. Wherefore, because they sought it not by faith, but as it were by the works of the law, for they had stumbled at that stumbling stone. Okay? Yeah, they're just going after it because they thought, yeah, this is something that we just gotta do. They're doing it carnally, man. Okay? They did something, they just went straight to the priest, the bullock, sacrifice it, chop, let's go. Get this sin off of me. And then the next day they're doing the same damn thing again. Okay? So, hey, man. You guys don't stop your shit, the Lord is going to get you, man. Okay? It says right here, for unto us was the gospel preached, as well unto them. But the word preached did not profit them, not being mixed with faith in them that heard it. Okay? We got faith. That's why we following after Yahweh Shem Yahushua by faith. Okay? Without that faith, it's impossible to please him. Alright? And a lot of you guys are coming in with this carnal mindset, like a worldly type mindset, man. Hey, all you false prophets this year, you're going to get exposed, destroyed. Whatever the Lord's going to do with you, He's going to do with you, and it's going to be made apparent before our eyes and the whole congregation, So, hey, the Wadi Yahweh Shem Yahushua for, showing us the right way, okay? And we pray to Yahweh Shem Yahushua that He don't take His Holy Spirit from us, okay? Because we be wandering in the congregation of dead. A man that wander out the way of understanding shall remain in the congregation of the dead, okay? So with that, Akim, hey, all praises, all honor, all glory be unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahushai, Bahashem, Rokah, Kodash. Double honors to the apostle elders of Green Millstone that rule well. Peace and salutation to all the Akim doing and pushing this word in sincerity and truth worldwide. And a sincere shalom to the elect. I hope you're edified. Lord willing, to the next time, Akim. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Pray that the Lord give you increase. Pray that the Lord don't take His Holy Spirit from you. Pray for the strength to endure. Pray for your brothers. You know what I mean? And that's just it, man. you know. So with that, hey, Abad Babal Akim. Shalom, shalom, shalom.